In this video, you will learn the various tools used to create and control the parametric framework. The parametric framework is the starting point for many families. You can think of this as a skeleton for your new family. In this exercise, we create a new family from scratch. Note we're currently in the Revit home screen, and we'll begin by creating a new family. Go ahead and click on New Family. In the New Family dialog, we'll begin by selecting the generic model template file. Again, notice that the file extension is .rft. This would in turn generate a Revit family file. Select Open, and you can now see that Revit generates this new family file. The name of the family will be generated automatically by Revit. In my case, I can see that the generated name is Family 1. Of course, when we save this family, we can give it a more meaningful name. Nearly all families will begin with at least 2 reference planes, and you can see that the generic model has indeed started with 2 default reference planes. These reference planes will both be pinned, so you can see this one here is pinned into position, and this one here is again pinned into position. The intersection of both of these reference planes here defines the origin, and that's a default setting. Of course, we can select the intersection of any reference planes to redefine that origin. Let's now begin by creating some new reference planes. To do this, we'll select the Create ribbon, and on the Datum panel, we'll select Reference Plane. On the Context ribbon, you can see that we have a Draw panel, and when we're creating reference planes, there's only 2 options. We can use a line, which means that we'll create a reference plane by picking 2 points, or we can use pick lines to offset reference planes from existing reference planes. I'm going to use pick lines. On the options bar, we can change the offset. So here I'm going to use 2 feet for the offset. We can then move over an existing reference plane, and you'll see that Revit then gives us a preview of where that new reference plane is going to be created. You can see here that I'm going to currently create a reference plane to the left of the existing plane. I'll go ahead and click there, and then I'll create another reference plane to the right. I'll now move over the horizontal reference plane and create a new reference plane above and below the horizontal plane. I can now go ahead and click the Modify button to release the reference plane command. Next, we're going to place some aligned dimensions across the reference planes and use these to control the geometric properties of this parametric framework. Remember that our goal is to have this family size from the insertion point. To do this, we'll go up to the Quick Access toolbar and we'll select Aligned Dimension. We'll begin by picking the 3 vertical reference planes and then placing those dimensions down. Once you've placed the dimensions down, you'll notice that we have the option to make these equal. So we'll toggle the dimension equality, and now these are equal. You'll also notice that the dimension, of course, displays the fact that it's equal. We'll do the same for the 3 horizontal planes. Place the dimensions down, and once again, make them equal. Additionally, I'm going to place another dimension which would control perhaps the length and width of this new family. So we'll place a dimension here and another dimension over here. Once we've placed out those dimensions, again, we'll select the Modify button to release the Align Dimension tool. If we now select this reference plane here, you'll note that if I drag the reference plane to the left and right, you can obviously see that the middle plane is staying stationary and the outside planes are moving with an equal distance. Again, we could check that with the horizontal planes. We could select this horizontal plane here and again drag that, and you can now see those planes moving. Another method rather than dragging is to have the plane selected and then use the cursor keys to move the plane up and down. So in this case, I'm going to hold my Shift key down and press the up arrow, and you can now see those elements moving. And again there, we could select the left-hand reference plane. If I don't hold the Shift key down, you'll see that those planes nudge in a much smaller increment. Okay, so we've now used equal dimensions to make sure that the family stays on its center point And of course, the reference planes are then driven with an equal distance.